How's it going, all you Minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and today I'm going to do an overview of the Books of Magic Omnibus Volume 1 from DC Comics. So, let's do this thing. Welcome back, everybody, and let's take a look at this book. This book came out about 2 weeks ago, and much like everybody else that has been waiting, at least here in the US, on our mailing service. So, it was in transit, and then it got kind of delayed, but it's finally here, and I finally got it, and was able to read some of it. So I'll be talking a little bit about what the story is, and how it ties into Sandman. Obviously it does. This is a brand new cover by Chris Bachalo for the Dust Jacket, and it makes me so happy to see this, Volume 1. I love that. It gives me hope that there's going to be a Volume 2, because this doesn't collect everything. And then, of course, here is the back. Now, there was a deluxe edition of this omnibus that was released that just reprinted the first 4 issues of the miniseries. And all of the solicitations I've seen, let's look at it under the Dust Jacket, states that it wasn't going to be collected in here. Here's what it looks like under the Dust Jacket. But let's look inside of this book and talk about what it really collects. So, Books of Magic. This is part of the Vertigo line that is released here as a Black Label line, Omnibus Volume 1. And there should be another Omnibus, because I never got to finish this series. Here's the table of contents. This is around the time that I stopped reading comic books, right around 1995. So I never got to finish the series, because the series, I think, finished towards 99, 2000. It lasted 75 issues. There are 2 forwards at the beginning of the book, one by John Ney Ryber and one by Peter Gross. John Ney Ryber was the storyteller, or the writer, of the first, I think, 50 issues or so of Books of Magic. And Peter Gross, of course, was the inker and the penciler, and then eventually took over the book. And I've never read any of his stuff. Now, you may be familiar with his name because of his run on Lucifer and The Unwritten with Mike Carey. So, contrary to popular belief, this does kick off with the 4-issue miniseries. Every solicitation I saw of this did not include the fact that they were collecting the miniseries here. It was available before in the deluxe hardcover edition, so I thought I would have to purchase that and this. But if you don't have this, you don't need to purchase that oversized hardcover. All 4 issues are collected in here. And that's the series from 1990, I want to say, that kicks off this run, that introduces us to the character of Timothy Hunter. And let's see, what else does it collect? Well, it collects the Books of Magic series, the main ongoing series, 1 through 32. It collects Mr. E. That's right, Mr. E. It was a character that was introduced in the 80s, and he plays a big role in this 4-issue miniseries and kind of propels the character of Timothy Hunter. And I'll talk a little bit more about the plot here in a second, but it collects that 4-issue miniseries, the Arcana Books of Magic Annual Number 1, the Children's Crusade 1 and 2, which were written by Neil Gaiman, as well as this 4-issue miniseries that introduces us to the character of Timothy Hunter. All of this is written by Neil Gaiman with different artists on each book. There's the Vertigo Visions Dr. Occult, number 1. Then there's material from Vertigo Rave, number 1. The Fairy Auburn's Tale, 3-issue miniseries. And that is it. And then we have a bunch of extras. So, what is this about? What am I flipping through here besides this beautiful John Bolton artwork? Well, 4 mysterious, magical-like characters from the DC Universe and Vertigo during this time. Known as the Trenchcoat Mafia. Actually, no, they're not. They're called the Trenchcoat Brigade or something ridiculous like that. So you have the Phantom Stranger, you have Mr. E, you have Johnny Constantine. Sorry, I just read that little young adult book that was announced, the Mystery House with Johnny Constantine. John Constantine, Hellblazer. And then you also have the character of Dr. Occult. So all 4 of them are sitting around deciding this boy's future. And this is Timothy Hunter, who has the potential to be the world's greatest magician. And I'm not talking about pulling a rabbit out of your hat. I mean real magic that has existed throughout the world of DC. So within the first 4-issue miniseries, this is a really cool way to introduce the history of the DC Magic Universe. So the first one's drawn by John Bolton, like I mentioned, and it's the Phantom Stranger taking him through the DC history of the magical realm. And then in the second story arc, drawn by Scott Hampton here, it's John Constantine taking him through the present world of the DC magic arts. Then we get to the third story arc, and this is where Dr. Occult takes him through like the fairy world and King Arthur's Camelot. He goes through hell, and this is drawn by the wonderful and talented Charles Vess. And then, of course, Mr. E in the fourth issue, drawn by Paul Johnson, takes him to the possible future of the DC Universe. And of course, this is where the House of Mystery and the House of Secrets have a big role to play, so it ties heavily into the Sandman Universe. Also because Neil Gaiman is the scriptwriter that introduces us to the character of Timothy Hunter. So he's this little boy with glasses, about 12 years old, that has the potential to be the greatest magician ever. Now, that idea may not seem original to you, but this is written long before a certain little British kid with glasses had the potential to be the greatest sorcerer in all of Hogwarts. Yeah, so there's a lot of similarities there. They both wear glasses. They're both British. I don't know, but just saying. Also, the character in Trolls 1, the first movie, was named Harry Potter. But anyway, that's beside the point. Here's the Children's Crusade. Oh, this is some of the artwork from Mr. E. This is what it looks like. By now, Neil Gaiman has stepped back and letting other people write the story. And Chris Bacalo joins him for the art in the first issue of Children's Crusade that leads into the Arcana annual number 1. And then it wraps up with Children's Crusade number 2. And that introduces the character of Timothy Hunter to the DC Universe. So now he's here, and we're introduced to a bunch of his supporting cast members, such as Leah the Succubus, the Manticore, and Tamlin the Falconer. But the biggest supporting cast member, at least to me, is Molly, which is kind of like his little girlfriend. And together, and that's the meaning the character, I don't mean it like that. She's an awesome supporting cast member, and I remember really enjoying reading these books. I haven't read this, oh my god, since they came out. I had these in single issues, and during the time of 1995, I stopped reading all my comics, and this is a series that I never picked back up. So when I came back to comics back in 2002, 2003, I decided to start getting these books in collected editions. And when these started coming out in trade paperbacks, I got really excited. However, they only collected the first 50 issues. They never collected the last 25. And I think since then, Tim Hunter has appeared in the pages of like Justice League Dark in the New 52, off and on, kind of like the characters in Sandman. I think they have to ask permission before they can use them. But yeah, that's really sad that it never got properly finished in collected edition. So I hope that this book sells well enough that we get a volume 2. And I'm thinking that's what they're trying to do with the Sandman by putting a Sandman label on it, to let you know that it's part of the Sandman universe. So it's important. And we got a Lucifer 1 and 2. There's no reason why we shouldn't get this. As far as the story itself, there are ups and downs. I remember not really liking Tim Hunter that much. As a matter of fact, he kind of got on my nerves a lot in the way that he is portrayed, at least in this, as long as I read it. So I don't know if he got better. I don't know if he got a big character arc where he grew. But his supporting cast is what I really enjoyed. I really enjoy the supporting cast in this book. This, by the way, is some of the artwork that's in here. So you've got artwork by Peter Gross, you've got artwork by Gary Amaro, and then Peter Snedberg. I know I'm not pronouncing his name right now. I apologize. He's the gentleman that drew some of Starman with James Robinson. Now, as I'm flipping through here, probably noticing this is a big damn book. And it is. It's over 1,500 pages. It is 1,504 pages. There's Kaluta covers here. There's my girl Death again. There are also covers by Charles Vess. So 1,504 pages retails for $150. Now, let's look in the back here for some extras, and we'll look at this binding. So we've got some trading card artwork here. Some variant covers, some house ads. That's a beautiful cover right here by Mark Buckingham. There's the deluxe edition cover. And then some of the trade paperbacks. So you got Charles Vess and then Michael Kaluta's artwork on the trade paperbacks. I'm so glad they collected those in here. And then you have penciled artwork back here from some of the miniseries, the pitch, and the letter back to Neil Gaiman. So Neil Gaiman was actually a consultant on this book, and it wasn't until years later that I found out that Neil Gaiman as a consultant, was really just suggesting a couple of things, and he would always get rejected because it was too late to change the stories. So he was just literally getting a paycheck, is what he said. And then some panel layouts back here. Now, let's look at this binding, because it is a big book. So here is what that eye looks like. It is sewn binding. We're looking right at the middle, and it's laying down rather well. Doesn't seem to want to shut itself, but let's look towards the beginning. Still in that first issue. It's trying to open up a little bit, but that's to be expected, honestly. It's a lot of weight in this book. And towards the back, same thing that you have towards the very beginning. You have to hold it down just a little bit to keep it from shutting. Well, not to keep it from shutting, but to read some of the word bubbles that are in here from some of the gutter. So there is a little bit of gutter loss towards the beginning and towards the end. This feels better than the Scott Snyder Batman Volume 1. This feels more like Lucifer Volume 2, if you've seen my overview of that. But 1,504 pages, $150. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. That was the content, the page count, and the build of this omnibus. Let me know in those comments down below if you picked this up, if you look forward to it, if you're a fan of the Sandman universe and you've read Sandman, Lucifer, and you need to read this, or if you finished it out. I never got to finish this series, so I hope there's a volume 2 that collects it all the way to issue 75. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We can be found on Redbubble and on Patreon. Amazing ways to support the channel. Thank you so much to our existing patrons. More importantly, please everybody, stay healthy, stay safe, and much love to all of you.